Hello, it's me again, Gary Champion, Psychic Medium. It's about 55 degrees here in Texas. This is February the 13th, 2017, and I've got a little thing for you. I woke up this morning and I heard a lost highway. I'm thinking, well, I've been down a lot of lost highways. I didn't know what it meant. And then I'm eating a piece of toast, having coffee in my grumpy mug this morning. It does say I hate it's Monday morning. I love Mondays, but I heard a lost highway, and I couldn't figure out what that meant. I mean, what connection would that have to me? Actually, it has no connection to me at all. And then I heard acute peritonitis. I don't even know what that is. So I had to look it up, and something to do with the inflammation of the bowels and things like that. It's a long explanation, but it causes organs to fail. And then I'm thinking, okay, this must be connected to lost highway. Things like that in a medium's life usually are connected. They come one right after the other, and they connect up. And I thought, okay, well, who wrote a song like that? Well, Hank Williams. I mean, that's the first thing that came to my mind. He did a song called The Lost Highway. So I'm going to make a bold statement and say that Hank Williams died of acute peritonitis and not heart failure. I guess you could say he died of heart failure due to peritonitis, acute peritonitis. And once I had that in place, the rest of it was pretty easy. I clicked on Hank Williams, and it turns out he was in a fight a couple of nights before he got kicked in the stomach. Kind of makes sense. So it's some kind of inflammation and bacteria and organs fail. I don't know. You'll have to look at it. But someone's claiming that's what he passed to. Heart failure, yeah, I'm sure. But I'm not sure a doctor he died and wrote it down, January 1st, 1953. I mean, anybody can open up a body and say he had heart failure. He had a bad heart, but how do you judge that? It's not pumping. How do you gauge whether it's a bad heart or not? Anyway, I'm going to say it's a misdiagnosis. I'm going to be real bold about it and say this isn't true. So I went to YouTube and started listening to A Lost Highway, and then it just all got real clear. He was in a barroom fight or something, and occasionally would get into fights because he was drunk a lot. And he didn't drink because he liked drinking so much. He had back pain from childhood, and kept him out of the army. And he took other drugs for it. So in order to perform, he would do drugs. He got kicked off the Grand Ole Opry. That was due to that, but you could say he got kicked off the Grand Ole Opry for trying to relieve the pain in his back that nothing else seemed to work for. I know he purposely didn't say, hey, I'm going to get drunk and mess up the Grand Ole Opry. I'm sure it was more complicated than that. And he has family that survives. And I would never say anything bad about Hank Williams. I think, and I'm not a great country fan. I think I've said that over, but I seem to be doing a lot of country music. If you listen to his stuff, it's pretty clear. It's pretty pure. I mean, there's not much there. There's a little backup band, the Drifting Cowboys, and his voice, which was country. It's a country sounding voice, a little guitar. Its pureness is what you're looking for there. I could name other country people that were as pure, but they didn't write songs like Hank did. He's a legendary songwriter, but in the end, everybody pretty much abandoned him. His music publisher, his wife, his band. His band was no longer playing behind him. They were playing behind some other star because he wouldn't show. So anyway, It's a bold statement, but I'm going to say that Hank Williams Jr. did not die of heart failure. He did not die of all these things. They said of the chloral hydrate drugs he was taking. He died of peritonitis. That being in fights and being hurt and hit in the stomach, and this went through his whole system, whatever this is, and I'm not a doctor, but whatever this is, permeated his system and caused a lot of these issues. And certainly heart failure is one of them that's the top of the list if it's not treated. And it wasn't treated. They gave him drugs for pain, but they didn't think that maybe he had an infection of some kind. Anyway, for all you country music fans, great singer, not really anybody's come along to replace him. I mean, he is one of a kind. I mean, his songs are still being recorded by just anybody. I mean, so I don't know why I got that this morning. I have no clue, except that maybe somebody's trying to right a wrong, as in some of the other things I've done that are attached to country people, that maybe they've been slandered in a way that's not correct. It's not correct. So I think this is an attempt to correct history, which I'm all for. History is often written by the winners. It's never written by the losers, because they're dead. And if he had written this, and if he had seen a real doctor instead of this doctor he saw, who was not a real doctor, he bought his degree online for $35, so he wasn't a real doctor. Had he seen a real doctor and had some tests run, he was only 29, I think, when he died, so he could have lived. I was born in 51. I'm still alive. He certainly would be past, but he would have written maybe 400 or 500 songs that would still be around. His music would, still be played everywhere, and Hank Williams is played anywhere in the country music world. It's still played. Anyway, an attempt to correct the past, or false history. It's an attempt to correct false history. They didn't know. They didn't know what anything was back then. They didn't do operations on anything. They just gave pills out mostly. So misdiagnosed heart failure due to all this alcohol stuff he was taking is untrue. I believe he had they're saying something called sepsis. I don't know what that is either, but he had peritonitis, acute peritonitis, which must have hurt him a lot. Died in the back of a Cadillac, going to do another show, I think Canton, Ohio, January the 1st, 1953. Thanks, Hank. No fear, no regret, no anger. Thanks for watching.